to take care of myself. Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God. You are the place. Moves and breathes and has we are the place. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. I am the place where God. You are the place.
Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Hallelujah. Oh Lord, we love you. You are so good. We just want to thank you for your grace and mercy. We come to you today, Father, with humble hearts. And we like to say that we just don't want to be spectators, but we like to participate in the building of your great kingdom, Father. So if there's anything you can use, I want you to know you can use me. Help me sing this song, Gospel Truth. Come on. my feet.
Touch my heart, Lord, speak through me.
If you can use anything,
Use anything, Lord, you can use me.
Lord, you called Moses from the wilderness, put a rod in his hand. You use him to lead your people over to the promised land. Lord, I'm willing to trust in you. So take my life and use it too. If you can use anything, Lord, use me. So
You can use anything, Lord, you can use me.
use anything.
Use anything, Lord, you can use me.
Take my hand,
Take my hands, Lord, and my feet.
touch my heart.
Touch my heart, Lord, speak through me.
You can use anything.
Use anything, Lord,
You can use me. When David fought Goliath, the mighty giant fell. He proved to his people that God was alive in Israel. And I'm wanting
to be used.
so I'll say yes, Lord, I'll say yes. Use me, dear Lord. Whoa, you can use me, Lord. Oh, you can use me.
Use anything, Lord,
If you can use me, I said, if you can use me, Lord.
anything,
Hey,
use me.
Lord, take my hand,
Take my hands, Lord, and my feet.
take my feet,
My heart, Lord,
speak through me. I said, if you can use,
use anything.
you can use me. Yes, you can, Lord. Oh, use me.
You can use anything, Lord, you can use me.
I said, if you can use, if you can use.
Use anything, Lord, you can use me.
Take my hand,
Take my hands, Lord, and my feet.
touch my heart,
My
yeah.
heart, Lord, speak
If you can use, if you can use, yeah. If you can use, yeah. You can use me like you used my brothers, David and Moses, yeah.
use anything, Lord, you can use me.
Lord, use me.
You can use anything, Lord, you can use me.
Take my hand, Lord, yeah.
My hands, Lord, and my feet.
Take my feet.
Touch my heart, Lord,
You can speak through me, use me, Lord.
can use anything.
I want you to know you can use me, Lord, use me. Oh, yes, you can use me.
Use anything, Lord, you can
Use me, Lord, yeah.
You can use anything, Lord.
You can use me. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom.
welcome to Columbine Spiritual Center, where centered in God, we celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. I'm Janice Kelly, your Director of Music and Outreach, and I'm checking in this morning from sunny Santa Fe, New Mexico, where my daughter's getting married today. Robert Anderson's in the house. He's going to be leading you in some fun sing-alongs and doing some wonderful special music songs, including this great prelude. Whether you're with us in person or online, we say happy Sunday and welcome.
Hi, Janice. There is just one present, there is just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There is just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. There is just one purpose, there is just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. There is just one chorus we all can sing, one great power, let it ring. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. Help me out. One great power,
One great power,
one great power,
one great power,
one great power.
one great power.
I'm singing one great power,
Singing one great power,
one great power,
one great
power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere, one great power everywhere. So I invite you all to stand, sing along with me on these joy songs. Make a little noise out there if you want. So I'm going to sing a line and you sing it right back at me. Are you ready? See, when you stand up, you can move. I am an expression of the Spirit,
of spirit,
of the Spirit.
of spirit.
I am
I am
an expression
an expression
of the Spirit,
of spirit,
of the Spirit.
of spirit.
A beautiful
A beautiful
expression
expression
of the Spirit,
of spirit,
of the Spirit.
of spirit.
Magnificent
Magnificent
expression
expression
of the Spirit,
of spirit,
of the Spirit.
of spirit.
A unique, unrepeatable expression of God.
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 I am
I am
an expression
an expression
of the Spirit,
of spirit,
of the Spirit.
of spirit.
I am
I am
fabulous.
I'm fabulous.
I got it.
I got it.
An expression
Of the spirit.
of the spirit.
Of the spirit.
A unique, unrepeatable expression of God.
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 I am an expression of the spirit. Of the spirit. I am an expression of the spirit. Of the spirit. Of the spirit. These guys sound lovely. See, you could never do this if you were sitting down. You gotta sway. Unless you've done dances for international peace, which, hello, this is Boulder, you probably have. You may not know this song, but it's a Sufi chant, Islamic chant. Very simple. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. Yes, I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. Yes, we are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Nice. You can be seated. You can sing with me if you want, or you can just lay back and let it wash over you. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
So I invite us into a time of prayer now. Allow yourselves to take a deep breath. Gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Go into that deep place within yourself. Sweet Spirit, we are grateful this morning to be here, to be in this space of love and understanding, to be in this space of acceptance, this space of choosing love over fear, of allowing ourselves to go deeper, to come into more conscious awareness of you, Spirit. More conscious awareness of the Spirit that is everywhere, always present, always love. So we invite ourselves to express from that place within ourselves, that place that knows that we are loved, that we are loving, that place that knows that we may extend that out to everyone we come into contact with, that we may bless all those that we see from afar, that we may realize that we are all connected, that we are all one, that we are here for each other. All beautiful souls on this planet together. And we hold in our hearts anyone who's not able to see that right now due to life's challenges, situations, circumstances, whatever they're facing. We hold that for all those affected by recent violence in our world, all those who are grieving and suffering. We hold that for the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia. We hold it for those who are able to make decisions that they hold this place of love as well, this place of compassion, this place of unity. And we hold it for everyone on our prayer list and every prayer request that goes into our prayer box, that we see the light beyond the struggle, that we see the love within the challenge, that we see that love within ourselves. And so I want to invite you to hold those thoughts of love, as we rest together in the silence.
When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper to my God. So I got the idea for this song from a friend of mine who got it off the internet. And I thought, wow, that'd make a great song. And it turns out it's a true story. Today at my school in world history, teacher popped a quiz. He said, this is easy. Just name the 7 wonders of the world for me. So this is what we wrote. The pyramids of Egypt, the Taj Mahal, the Panama Canal, China's Great Wall, world famous landmarks, we counted them all. Yes, they got every vote. Then I noticed the shy girl who sits next to me hadn't turned in her list. It was plain to see. Teacher asked her what the trouble might be, and this is what she said. There's so many answers, I don't know what to say. Teacher said, maybe we can help find a way. Just read a short list. The girl hesitated, then this is what she read. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. Ah, these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. Well, you could have heard a pin drop in that room. Nobody spoke, nobody moved, till someone asked the girl to say it once more through. And so she spoke again. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. These are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. Well, it's a gentle reminder from a gentle soul. We take for granted gifts worth more than gold, and the richest treasures in life's plan cannot be kept by our own hand. To touch, to see, to taste, and to feel, to laugh, and to hear, to love while we're here. Ah, these are such wonders, wonderful wonders, 7 wonders of the world. 7 wonders of the world.
Thank you, Robert, Zane, Dan, Pete, music team. Grateful for you to be here today. Yesterday, there were 10 or 12 of us, maybe a little more, that went to the Pride Festival in Longmont. I think it was the first time for all of us, and I'm so happy that all of us are stepping out of this comfort zone of learning about people who may be different than us. Unique. Thank you. And today we're going to continue our Unity and World Religions series that we started a few weeks ago, talking about Islam. It's a religion that is a lot misunderstood, I think, especially in this country. And it's a beautiful religion that supports equality and peace and compassion. It's more of a way of life than just a religion. It's a complete way of life. The Muslims pray. Prayer is it's the center of their day. They pray, have a call to prayer 5 times a day, and that's not the only times that they pray. They pray in between those 5 times as well. But I love the call to prayer. There's a call to prayer, and if you've ever visited a country that is majority Muslim and there's mosques, they have this call to prayer that comes out over the loudspeakers for everyone to hear. And it's in Arabic, of course, I tried to find a translation, and I think there's many slightly different translations of it, but it's basically, God is the greatest. I testify that there is no God but Allah. Again, Allah is the word for God in Arabic. I testify that Muhammad is God's prophet. Come to pray. Come to security or salvation. God is the greatest. There is no God but Allah. And in the morning, they may say, or the first time of the day, they may say, prayer is better than sleep. I love that. Prayer is better than sleep. It's a constant reminder, put God first in our lives. I want to show a video clip of you'll hear this call to prayer in Arabic, and you're going to be seeing a lot of Muslims making their Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca on the screen. So let's watch that.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة
So beautiful. A beautiful voice. And this morning, we have a special guest with us who's going to talk about his experience being a Muslim here in Boulder. His name is Pasha, and he's a member of the welcoming team, or do I have that right? Member of the outreach team at the Islamic Center in Boulder. So please welcome Pasha.
When we give a talk in our faith, we always start by praising God and sending the peace and blessings upon all the prophets and their companions and their followers. So I'll start with that. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما. I had something prepared, and on my way over here, I was actually reading the prayer, and in the prayer they talk about, Lord, open the chest for me and make it not constricted, especially when this was the prayer of, we believe, the prophet Moses, when he was sent to speak to the Pharaoh and all his viziers and all the advisors. And it's so coincidental that you guys were singing about opening up the chest, and it just was, very magical for me. So thank you for that. Being a Muslim in Boulder specifically, out of Colorado and then out of the U.S. is it's a wonderful experience. I mean, I've experienced nothing but welcoming people. Haven't had any issues with anyone, persecuting me for my faith. I mean, even in a lot of Muslim countries, unfortunately, you have issues or struggles with practicing your faith that you don't have in the U.S. and specifically in Boulder. When it comes to the 5 daily prayers, for me, it's a reminder to God. It's not just an act of worship, that you're supposed to do this, but it's an act where you connect with God. God is inviting you to connect with Him, to remember the reasoning why we're here on this earth, that we believe that every Muslim, every person was born with this natural inclination to worship God, to do these acts of worship that bring you closer to Him. So 5 times a day, and they're almost equally spaced. That you get away from everything. You get away from the computer if you're working remotely, which I am. If you're at the office, you kind of find a quiet space and you connect with God, and you remind yourself that you're here for a specific reason. And I think one time I did it when I was at one of my newer jobs, and they didn't have any closed-off rooms at that specific time. Later on, the company made a room for us, or how would I say this? They allocated a room for anyone who wanted to pray, whether it was Muslim or not, which was great. But at one point, they just had glass walls. So I was praying, and I was bowing down, and one of my coworkers came up and just stared at me from the window. And then he was just looking like, he was kind of curious. And then he went back to his desk. And I could see him from the corner of my eye while I was praying, so it was kind of funny. I went up to him and talked to him. Hey, were you kind of confused, or what was going on? What was going on in your head that you wanted to come over? And he said, I was just kind of curious. I thought something was wrong with you. And then he's like, after a minute, I realized, oh wait, you're praying, because you kind of just like sat up. So living in America, you see in the news a lot of people that have prejudice against Islam, but honestly, in my personal experience, I've seen nothing but people that are welcoming, people that are curious, and they just want to know what you're doing. And when you tell them, they're very excited. People who are non-Muslim that are in America, I should say. So that's the second pillar. The first pillar is the testimony of faith. There's no God worthy of worship except God alone by Himself, and the Prophet Muhammad is His messenger. We embody that in our lives, and everything we do, we kind of have that as the back of our mind, that whatever we do, we're not going to cheat people. We're not going to do this or that. We're going to have to answer to God. The third pillar, which is giving zakat, or giving alms, 2.5% of your standing wealth at the end of the year, is the way that we look at it is not a means of, you're paying, you're doing something for someone else. You're doing this, you're giving 2.5% of your wealth away as a means of purifying the rest of your wealth. And in a lot of hadith and a lot of the sayings of the Prophet, he says that the person, when you give charity to the poor, you don't give it with a higher upper hand. You give it with the lower hand, meaning that you don't give it with a sense of arrogance that I'm better than you, that I have this and that, and you don't have anything. But you give it with a sense of, you give that person dignity, that you're giving this charity for your own benefit. You're not doing it for their benefit. And with all these pillars, they're ritualistic in nature, but there's a philosophy to them that is very spiritual. And if you don't do it with the right intention, with the right spirit, it makes it a very tasteless act. And you have the fourth, and then and also what it does is when you give alms 2.5%, if Muslims were to do it, if all Muslims would actually do it, you would have less jealousy, less hatred, less of that higher class that have more. Why aren't they sharing with us? This would happen less, and there'd be less issues with that. This is one of the other reasons why some of the scholars mentioned that this was one of the pillars. And unfortunately, it's not something that all Muslims practice. People find ways to get out of it, and that's not true. But I really do believe that if this was truly practiced around the world, that there would be less of this, envy and hatred, and and then there'd be more care for those who are less fortunate in a financial sense, and just in that sense. In other ways, they have more. Other people are at different levels in different categories, So we can't say one person's worse, one person is better. It's just different statuses, in different areas. The fourth pillar, the fasting, is not a means to struggle in terms of not eating or drinking. It's supposed to be very tough. It's a means to get closer to God. If it's something that you have a sickness or something, even when I'm at work, I tell my manager I'm fasting this month, and he gives me a lot of allowances that, hey, you know what, you need to take a nap in the middle of the day, just let me know. You can go to your car or whatever. If you can't take on this specific project that requires late night work, I totally understand. It's just people are very understanding. My managers have been, and people that I've worked with or I've interacted with, always very curious about that. How do you do fasting, 16 hours a day, 20 hours a day? It's not hard. It's actually very easy. The first 1 or 2 days might be difficult. And when I say difficult, you might feel a slight pang of hunger or thirst, if you can call it that. But it's nothing compared to those who don't have food and water, don't have food and drink, and when they break their fast, they don't have, the best nutritious, food, or they don't have the cleanest drinking water or whatnot. I mean, we can't even compare ourselves to that situation, The last pillar being Hajj. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. I was told I needed to keep it 5 to 7 minutes, and for me, this was like, I have a cloud of all these things coming to my mind. So I figured, these are the 5 pillars that our religion is based upon. Without any of these pillars, it's called your faith is incomplete. The last pillar being Hajj. In my personal experience, this is the only one that requires a physical test. If there was anything in the U.S. for an American Muslim to consider jihad, if I can put that word out there, it means a struggle, physical struggle, it would be this last pillar, Hajj. Because when I went 2 years back, man, I've never been physically tried ever in any other situation in my life. I mean, there's so many people, there's crowds, you're only wearing these 2 pieces of cloth. And it's hot, and you have to do this one ritual, and you go to the next ritual, and from there you have a little bit of break, and you go to the next ritual. Everybody got sick, everybody gets sick there. And for me and my wife, we were just, at the end, we were just physically overwhelmed. And this happens to everyone, regardless of if you pay more money for a more comfortable package, God finds a way to make it so that it's meant to be physically tough. Like, it's not, I just went to Mecca and Medina. I just came back from a 2-month trip, and I was there and I was worshiping very comfortably, and I was spiritually able to connect with God. Hajj is not meant to be like that. Hajj is meant to be, you're there to physically strive. That's why it's called the jihad of our times, living in the U.S., because we don't have an outsider country attacking us and our lands, and then we would be sent to the border, and that would be the real jihad, but we don't have that. So what we have now is Hajj. So these are the 5 pillars of our religion that the religion is based on. There's all the other aspects as well, but I mean, alhamdulillah, we say alhamdulillah means I praise to God that we don't have any issues like this. A lot of our counterparts and Muslims in other countries that consider themselves to be Muslim countries, they have it a lot more difficult in other sense, in other ways. You know, the freedom of religion that we have in this country, the constitution that this country was founded upon is made it so that, you know, practicing our religion is the easiest that I think it's in any other, compared to any other country, except for the Holy Land, Mecca and Medina, but that's because that's our holy land right there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything else that you want to know about my personal experience, please reach out to me. Please talk to me afterwards. I'd love to inform you guys the best I can of how my experience is. Thank you.
Thank you, Pasha. That's wonderful. So, Islam and Christianity, we're both Abrahamic religions. We along with Judaism. So we talked about Christianity a few weeks ago, and then Judaism a couple weeks ago, and Islam today. And we all come from the same roots. We have the same God, monotheism, one God, one power. The Hebrew scriptures and the Christian scriptures, the Old and New Testaments, are part of the Quran. The story of the prophets are in the Quran. Jesus, they consider as a great prophet from the Christian scriptures. I love this sacred story from Islam that Adam and Eve, after they were banished from paradise, the Garden of Eden, sorry. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Take a breath, Sue. They were searching all over Arabia, looking for a place to build their house of worship. And they came upon this dazzling white stone. And Adam said, this is where we're going to build our place of worship, our Kaaba. Am I saying that right? Pasha, Kaaba. This is where we're going to, and so they built this place of worship. It's beautiful, around this white stone. And after they died and things happened and things got overgrown and there was a great flood, that the stone became forgotten. The Kaaba became forgotten. Years later, Abraham was with Hagar and his son Ishmael. Now, in the Hebrew Bible, Hebrew scriptures, Abraham's wife Sarah sends her servant Hagar to Abraham because she cannot conceive. And so Hagar conceives a son, Ishmael. And Abraham and Hagar and Ishmael are out. They're out in the wilderness, and Adam gets this message from Allah to leave them, to leave Hagar and Ishmael where they are, and to go back to Sarah. And so he does. And Hagar is just distraught over this because there's no water, there's no food. How am I going to care for my son? And she's searching everywhere for water and can't find water anywhere. And suddenly, as she's crying with her son and wondering what is going to become of them, an angel appears to her and says, "Why do you weep, Hagar?" And she says, I need water for my son. We need food. And the angel touches his wing to the ground, and a brook starts bubbling up, and a big stream starts flowing. And Hagar and Ishmael drink from this stream. And they start building a home around this stream, and soon herdsmen are coming and wanting to water their livestock. And she allows them in trade for food and trade for other things. And she and Ishmael become very prosperous. Years later, after Hagar dies, Abraham returns to be with his son, Ishmael. And he sees this black stone in the distance. And Abraham knows this is the stone. This was the white stone that Adam had found originally, and it had turned black because of the people's sins, because of them forgetting about God. And so Abraham says, on this stone, around this stone, we will build our new Kaaba. We build our new house of worship. And we will wait for a messenger to come and help us build this belief system, this worship, this religion. And so years later, in the 600s AD, the messenger is Muhammad, and he hears an angel speak to him in a cave in Mecca and starts reciting the Quran to him, which gets transcribed eventually. In over 20 years or so, from 610 to about 630, Muhammad receives these visions of the angel Gabriel, first in Mecca and then in Medina. And it gets written to be the Quran, the sacred scriptures of Islam. Islam is the second most popular religion as far as population goes in the world, with 1.8 billion people practicing Islam. Second only to Christianity at 2.3 billion. There's 24% of the world's population practices Islam. And yet, there still can be a lot of mistrust and misunderstanding about Islam, about Muslims. And so part of the reason why we're doing this series, this Unity and World Religion series, is to bring awareness, is to bring understanding, is to see our similarities and celebrate our differences, because how boring would this world be if we were all the same? And having all these different religions to study and to explore helps us to grow and expand our worldview. We've been using Paul John Roach's book, Unity and World Religions. I think we have maybe one left in the bookstore, I don't know, but it's available online as well. But it's a fabulous book that goes through the different world religions, showing how the religions are similar to Unity's 5 principles. So the first unity principle is God is. There's only one power, one presence. This is totally in alignment with Islam. There's only one God. There's only one power. In Islam, they say there are 99 names for God. They're all attributes, including love and mercy and compassion. God is absolute good in Islam and in Unity. We teach the same thing. Our second unity principle is there's a spark of the divinity in each one of us, that I am. Now, we are a little different in this principle from Islam, in that Islam would look at God is not in each of us, but extremely close to each of us. God is with us and knows us intimately, knows everything. But God is beyond his creation. He's not distant from them, but exalted above them. God is intimately involved in human lives. It says in the Quran, we created man, we know the prompting of his soul, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. This omnipresence. God is everywhere. God sees everything. Whichever way, it also says in the Quran, whichever way you turn, there is the face of God. Face of God is everywhere. Our third unity principle is the law of mind action. How we think determines how we experience our life. I was listening to a podcast that our author, Paul John Roach, had with Imam Omar Suleiman. And he said, in Islam, you reap what you sow. That they do believe in reward and punishment, but the reward is always much greater. There's only one punishment for our sins or for missing the mark. There's only one consequence, but our rewards are always, always in excess. That would be very similar to Unity's teaching about grace. Is that, yes, there's cause and effect, but always there is more than what we think. More life, spirit, always providing for us. And he said, Imam Omar said, their intentions matter. We make one step toward God, and God makes 100 steps towards us. I love that. The Spirit is always there. This is very similar to unity, too. The Spirit is always there for us, no matter what we do. All we have to do is come into awareness of God. And then our fourth unity principle is that we pray. Prayer and meditation, really important in Islam. The 5 calls to prayer a day. In Islam, is absolute dependency on spirit, on God. That the goal is to have God consciousness, to be thinking about God all the time. Which is similar, again, to our Christian scriptures. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. Seek first. Let that always be your first thought. And so often in our humanness, it's not. I remember one Lent, I had decided I'm going to meditate twice a day, and so instead of just once a day, and so I had a reminder on my, I'm pointing to my watch. I didn't have an Apple Watch then. I had an iPhone, and so the phone would the alarm would go off, and I'd be in the middle of doing something extremely important, I'm sure, and I hit the snooze. How many times do we hit the snooze when God has spoken to us, or Spirit has spoken to us, or that still small voice within us says, this way, now. I love in Islam that no matter what you're doing, when you get the call to prayer, you stop and you pray. Very simple. And there's peace in that. There's a peace of mind knowing that you are always putting spirit first. Islam literally means peace through the surrender of the will of God. Surrender to the will of God, or submission to the will of God. There's peace in that. There's a peace in mind knowing that we don't have to figure it all out. The Spirit is there. That God consciousness. And then our fifth unity principle is that we have to act. And Imam Omar says that we have to care for each other. They were all equal. Equality is a big thing in Islam. When they go for their Hajj to Mecca, everybody wears 2 white garments to show their equality, that they're all equal. He says that we can't pretend that injustices don't exist, that we are called to help others. We have to dig deeper into ourselves to find or ask what is ours to do, and then act on it. We have to challenge ourselves to help those who are suffering. Challenge our own worldviews and listen to that still small voice. Listen to those who are hurting. Become aware of what course of action we need to take and become more aware of our own privilege. He said, do not be silent. Stand up for others. Malcolm X was very influential in his time. And he had become a member of the Nation of Islam, which is not the same thing as the religion Islam that came from Muhammad. The Nation of Islam was against white people. And Malcolm X was part of that until he became disenchanted and disappointed with his leader and broke away. And he went on a Hajj to Mecca, and he said it transformed his life. And he became this wonderful spokesperson for Islam. He influenced Muhammad Ali. It's a beautiful example of how a pilgrimage can change us. There's probably I think I read 600 places you can do a pilgrimage in Western Europe if you're Christian. There's lots of ways you can go on pilgrimage. My own experience with Islam is very limited. My husband and I, a few years ago, were in Istanbul, Turkey. And there they have the mosque, and we visited the Hagia Sophia, and we visited the Blue Mosque. And I loved the call to prayer 5 times a day. I loved you could hear it all over the city. And somebody handed me a pamphlet on Islam, and I remember reading it and thinking, there is nothing I disagree with on this. It's a beautiful, peaceful religion that puts spirit first in their lives. That we surrender to this will of God. I'm also inspired by Sufism, and Imam Omar said that there are many Sufis, and some of them are more traditional, following Islam, and some aren't. But Rumi was more traditional, and many of us, probably most of us, have heard of Rumi. He was the most popular poet in America in the 1990s, and he's from the 13th century. 14th century, but the true practice of Sufism is remembrance of God. Remembrance of God. Surrender to that spirit. Surrender to that still small voice. Surrender to that guidance that you get. Do you surrender? To what do you surrender? We don't like that word surrender here in America. It sounds weak, but it's actually strong. To surrender to the will of God is to act of the utmost love and peace and compassion. So we're constantly invited to try that, to do that. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to give it a try if you haven't done it before? See how it goes. You will find peace. You will find peace. I love this Rumi poem or quote. It says, Maybe you are searching among the branches for what only appears in the roots. I mean, stop looking to the outer and look deep within. Look to those roots. Look to what is true, what is loving within yourself, that you may bear much fruit. Looking to the roots of Islam, we see a religion deeply committed to God, deeply committed to peace, and deeply honoring all life. Peace be with you.
So once again, I'll sing a line, you sing it right back at me. How easy is that? And I invite you to take this song out the door with you. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. A little louder. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. All right, you know it. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. Here we go. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do.
Thank you so much. And I'm feeling very inspired by the message. Thank you, Pasha and Reverend Sue. So we have quite a bit of community news today, and this is the time in our service when we talk about our opportunity to share our financial riches with our community. And we're going to now together recite our commitment from Columbine Spiritual Center. So if you would please say this along with me. We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness, diversifying our community, manifesting our highest potential, and positively impacting the world. And if this message resonates with you, then this is a perfect time for you to join us in making this happen in our community. And there are a lot of ways that you can do that. We make it easy for you to give. You can text, you can set up an automatic withdrawal from one of your bank accounts, and you can also donate through the website. And then for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, as soon as we say our blessing, the ushers will pass the baskets for us. So let's say our blessing together. God's love has always met and will always meet all our needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. And as we go through the community news, one of the things we always like to remind you of is that our website is packed with information. It's a way for you to not only stay informed, but also to get involved. So check there first when you have any questions or interests. June is Pride Month, and as Sue mentioned, yesterday we had a group that went to Longmont, and we also are looking at other events throughout the month of June. Janice, as you heard at the beginning, is away right now, but you can certainly send her an email if you're interested in participating, or you can speak with me afterwards. The art show is next weekend, so please put that on your calendar. Scott's retirement party, again, June 26th. Enough said. To save the dates, please. Colorado Feeding Kids is on July 30th at 9 a.m. here in Foss Hall. And then the women's retreat is scheduled for August 5th and 6th. So put that on your calendar. And who is our prayer chaplain today? Oh, sorry, Lisa, thank you, double duty. Lisa Tusignan, and she'll be down here in the sanctuary in a few minutes. So and Pete has one more quick announcement.
So I know many of you went to the Many Paths to Peace concert that we had here a few months ago. And if you did, you remember the last act, the fellow on the sitar and the tabla and the clarinet trio that was just absolutely transformational. Well, they're doing it again, an entire concert, not just 3 songs, an entire concert tonight at 7. So I suggest go home, have a nice meal, take a little nap, and come back here at 7 and be prepared to be completely amazed by these fabulous musicians. Thank you. Here, 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Pete. And if you would please stand for our blessing. Oh, peace song, sorry.